Why education? Why school? Is school a scam or not? Let's be honest. From the very first breath you take in this world, your life already seems planned. You are born, you grow a little, then they tell you it's time for school. You enter a system. You wake up early, wear uniforms, sit in classrooms, memorize notes, write exams, pass or fail. Then you move to the next level, primary school, secondary school, university. And if everything goes well, you graduate with good grades. Then comes the next phase. Go and look for a job. You find a job, you work, you earn, you marry, you have children. Then your children repeat the exact same cycle. And just like that, life becomes a loop, a circle that keeps going and going and going. Now pause, think deeply. Is this truly life or just a system we entered without questioning? Because if we're being real, not everyone wins in this system. Some people rise, many people struggle, others get completely lost. And somehow, we've accepted this as normal. You hear things like, not everyone can be successful, some people are meant to work for others. That's just how life is. But who decided that? Who designed a system where a few succeed and many must fail? Let's go deeper. School teaches you how to read and write, pass exams, follow instructions, meet deadlines. But tell me, does school really teach you how to think independently? How to discover your purpose? How to build something from nothing? Not really. Instead, it often trains people to fit into existing structures, to become employees, to follow rules, to stay within boundaries. And here's where the uncomfortable thought comes in. What if the system was never designed to create many leaders, but many workers? Now don't get it twisted. This is not to insult education. Education is powerful. Knowledge is important. Learning is necessary. But the system of education, that's where the question lies. Because look around. Some of the most successful people in the world did not follow the perfect school path. Some dropped out. Some didn't finish university. Some learned outside the classroom, and yet they changed the world. So what does that tell you? It tells you something very important. School is not the only path to success. But does that mean school is a scam? Not completely. Let's be fair. Why school is not a scam? School gives you basic knowledge, exposure to different fields, discipline and structure, a foundation to build on. If you choose the right course, if you actually understand what you're learning, if you use it as a stepping stone, then school can be powerful. It can open doors. It can give you opportunities. It can help you grow. So no, school is not entirely a scam. But here's where it becomes problematic. The problem is not education itself. The problem is how people are conditioned to depend on it completely. You graduate, and the first thought is, I need a job to survive. Not, what can I create? What problem can I solve? How can I stand out? Instead, it becomes, who will employ me? And that's where things start to feel like a trap. Because now, your survival depends on someone else's decision. You become a number, a statistic, a replaceable part in a system. And when jobs are not available, frustration begins, depression begins, people start to feel like failures, not because they are dull, but because they were never placed where they truly belong. Some people are creators, innovators, builders, thinkers, but the system pushes everyone through the same narrow path. So if you don't fit that path, you feel lost. And that's dangerous, because a fish will always look like a failure if you judge it by how well it climbs a tree. The biggest lie people start believing: if I don't succeed in school, my life is over. That is false, completely false. There are people who struggled academically, but thrived in real life. There are people with top grades, but are still searching for direction. Because success is not only about grades, it's about understanding yourself, discovering your strengths, applying knowledge in real life, the harsh reality. Yes, some people even believe to make real money you must do something illegal. But that's not true. It only feels that way because opportunities are limited, systems are not balanced, and people are not taught how to create value. When you don't know how to create value, you start looking for shortcuts, and shortcuts often lead to destruction. So what is the real answer? Is school a scam? No, but it is incomplete. School gives you information, but it doesn't always give you direction. School gives you knowledge, but not always application. That means something important. You must take responsibility for your own growth beyond school. What you should do instead: don't just go to school to pass. Go to learn, discover yourself, build skills, ask questions. While others are only chasing grades, you should also be chasing understanding, creativity, real-world experience. Use school as a tool, not as your entire life plan. Final thought: life is not meant to be a fixed cycle. You were not created just to go to school, get a job, pay bills, and repeat. There is more, much more. Some people will follow the traditional path and succeed. Others will create new paths. Both can work, but the real danger is living your entire life without ever questioning anything. So don't just ask, is school a scam? Ask, am I using school the right way? Because at the end of the day, school can give you a platform, but your mind, your choices, your courage, that is what will truly define your life. The day he realized the system wasn't broken, he was just asleep. The hall was silent, not the peaceful kind of silence, but the heavy kind, the kind that sits on your chest. Rows of students in black gowns, parents smiling, phones recording. The banner read, "Congratulations, graduates," and in the middle of it all sat Ethan Cole. Degree in his hand, smile on his face, but inside, something felt off. Ethan had done everything right. He followed the rules, woke up early, studied late, passed exams, avoided distractions. While others partied, he stayed focused. While others failed, he pushed harder. And today, he had finally made it. "Ethan, smile!" his mother shouted from across the hall. He smiled. The camera flashed. A perfect moment, a perfect lie. Because deep down, a question kept whispering. What now? The first crack, 2 weeks later. Reality began. Ethan sat in a small room, laptop open, CV ready, hope high. He clicked, apply, then again, apply, and again, apply. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. No replies, no calls, no opportunities. One evening, he sat quietly staring at his degree, the same degree that once felt powerful, now felt like paper. His father walked in. "Have you gotten anything yet?" Ethan forced a smile. Soon, but even he didn't believe it. The weight of expectation. The pressure grew. Friends started posting, "Just got hired, new job alert." God did it. Ethan liked the posts, but inside he was breaking. Relatives began asking questions. "So what are you doing now? You finished school, right? Don't waste your degree." Slowly, doubt crept in. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I failed somewhere. Maybe I'm the problem. The encounter. One afternoon, tired of everything, Ethan took a walk. No destination, just movement. He passed a small workshop, old building, rusty sign. But something caught his attention. Inside, an old man was working, focused, calm, building something with his hands. Ethan stood there for a while, watching. The man looked up. "You've been standing there for 5 minutes," he said. Ethan smiled awkwardly. "Sorry, I was just watching." The man nodded. Most people don't watch anymore, they scroll. Ethan stepped inside. "What are you building?" The man smiled. "My freedom." Ethan frowned. "That looks like furniture." The old man laughed. "That's what it looks like to you." The conversation that changed everything. They talked for hours. Ethan shared everything. School, graduation, rejections, fear. Then he asked the question that had been burning inside him. "Is school a scam?" The old man paused, then said something Ethan would never forget. "School is not a scam, but believing it is enough. That's the real scam." Ethan went silent. The man continued. "School teaches you how to pass tests. Life tests you on things school never taught you. School rewards memory. Life rewards value. School prepares you to be employed. Life rewards those who can create." Ethan leaned forward. "So what should I have done differently?" The man looked at him carefully. "Nothing. And everything, the truth about the system. Listen, the old man said. The system is not evil. It was designed for a time when the world needed workers. Factories, offices, structure. But the world has changed, and many people are still following old instructions in a new world. Ethan felt something shift inside him. So what do I do now? The old man smiled. You wake up, the awakening. That night, Ethan couldn't sleep for the first time in his life. He wasn't thinking about getting a job. He was thinking about what he could create, what problems he could solve, what skills he actually had. He realized something painful. He had spent years preparing to be chosen, but never prepared to choose himself. The transformation. The next morning, everything changed. Ethan didn't stop applying for jobs, but that was no longer his only plan. He started learning real skills, online tools, practical knowledge. He failed a lot. His first idea failed, second failed, third failed, but something was different. He was no longer afraid of failure because now he understood something powerful. Failure outside school does not mean you are stupid. It means you are learning something real. The breakthrough. Months later, something finally worked. It wasn't big, not glamorous, but it worked. He made his first money, not from a job, but from something he created. He stared at the screen, smiled, and whispered, "Wow, the return." 1 year later, Ethan returned to that same workshop. The old man was still there, still building, still calm. Ethan walked in with confidence. "You were right." The man smiled. "I know." Ethan laughed. School wasn't useless, but it wasn't enough. The man nodded. "And now you understand what most people never do." The final realization. As Ethan walked away, he looked at the world differently. He no longer saw degrees as guarantees, jobs as the only path, failure as the end. Instead, he saw possibilities, and he finally understood. School is a tool, not a destiny. The system is not your enemy, but it is not your savior either. Your life is not a cycle unless you refuse to break it. And most importantly, you are not here just to fit into the world. You are here to shape it. The man who never failed, but never lived. Adrian Voss was the kind of man parents prayed their children would become. From a young age, everything about him was right. He woke up early. He listened carefully. He studied harder than everyone else. While other children played outside, Adrian sat at a wooden desk, flipping pages, solving problems, chasing perfection. And it paid off. He came first in class, then first again, then again. Teachers praised him. Parents admired him. Relatives used his name as an example. Be like Adrian. And he tried to be. As he grew older, nothing changed. In secondary school, he was still the best. In university, he became exceptional. Not just good, exceptional. Top grades, awards, recognition. Everything the system demanded of him, he delivered. And when he finally graduated, standing tall with his certificate in his hand, the world told him, "You are going to be successful." And for a long time, it looked like they were right. Adrian got a good job almost immediately. Not just any job, a respectable one. The kind people would hear about and nod with approval. He wore suits, worked in tall buildings, sat in meetings, signed documents. Years passed. Promotions came. More responsibilities, more money, more respect. Eventually, he became someone important. A senior director, a man whose decisions affected others. A man people greeted with "Good morning, sir." A man who had made it, but there was something no one saw. Not his colleagues, not his friends, not even his family. Adrian was tired, not the kind of tired sleep could fix, but the kind that sits deep inside your chest. Quiet, but heavy. Every morning he woke up at the same time, dressed the same way, drove the same road, entered the same building. Day after day, week after week, year after year. At first he didn't notice it. Then he ignored it. Then he couldn't escape it. One afternoon, while sitting in his office, Adrian stared out through the glass window at the city below. Cars moving, people walking, life happening, and for a moment, everything felt distant, like he was watching a life he wasn't part of. That day, something unusual happened. He went for lunch, alone. The restaurant was quiet. His food was expensive. Everything looked perfect. But as he sat there, fork in hand, he realized something strange. He wasn't hungry, not for food, but for something else. Something he couldn't name. Later that evening, something even smaller happened, but it changed everything. He entered an elevator. Just another routine moment. A young intern stepped in after him, nervous, respectful. After a few seconds, the young man spoke. "Sir, can I ask you something?" Adrian nodded. The boy hesitated, then asked, "You've achieved so much. Is this what success feels like?" It was a simple question. But Adrian didn't answer. Because for the first time in his life, he didn't know how to. That night, Adrian sat alone in his house. A big house, a beautiful house, a quiet house. He looked around slowly. At the walls, at the awards, at the framed certificates, at everything he had spent his life chasing. And suddenly, it didn't feel like achievement. It felt like decoration. For the first time in years, Adrian allowed himself to think. Not about work, not about goals, not about expectations, but about himself. And a painful realization came quietly. He had done everything right, but never asked if it was right for him. Memories started returning. Not recent ones, old ones, a younger version of himself. Drawing ideas in a notebook, building small things, smiling freely, dreaming, he whispered softly, almost afraid to hear it. When did I stop being me? There was no answer. Only silence. The next morning, something changed, not outside. Inside, he went to work like usual, same building, same office, same people, but this time he saw things differently. The walls didn't feel impressive anymore. They felt limiting. The routine didn't feel structured. It felt repetitive. For the first time, Adrian saw the life he had built. Not as a reward, but as a cage. And here's the truth that hit him the hardest. He didn't fail the system. He succeeded in it, completely. And that was the problem. Because success without meaning feels empty. That day, Adrian did something small, very small, but powerful. He sat at his desk, opened his laptop, and instead of replying emails, he opened a blank page. Then he typed, "What do I actually want?" It was the first honest question he had asked himself in years. The answers didn't come immediately. And when they did, they were uncomfortable. He realized he didn't even know himself anymore. What he liked, what he wanted, what made him feel alive. So he started slowly, very slowly. He explored things he had ignored. He learned again. He allowed himself to be a beginner. And it was not easy, because unlearning a life is harder than building one. But something strange began to happen. For the first time in a long time, he smiled. Not because he had to, but because he felt something real. Weeks turned into months. And Adrian began to change. Not dramatically, but deeply. He started saying no to things that didn't matter. He started saying yes to things that scared him. He started choosing himself. One day, he met that same intern again. The young man smiled. "Sir, did you ever find your answer?" Adrian paused, then smiled in a way he never had before. He said, "Success without purpose is just a well-decorated prison." The young man went silent, and Adrian added softly, "Don't just try to succeed. Make sure the life you're building is actually yours." And as he walked away that day, for the first time in his life, Adrian didn't feel trapped. He felt free. Final thought. Some people fail early and find their path. Some people succeed and lose themselves. But the real tragedy is not failure. It is spending your entire life climbing a ladder, only to realize it was leaning against the wrong wall.